Welcome back in. It is the Mark and Brian radio program. Ted, do we have her? We don't know. Do we have her?
I think we do. I think she's ready to go.
All right. We'll do the intro, and if she's there, that'd be great. If she's not, it'll be awkward.
Hello?
Hi, Jenny.
Yes.
Yeah, Jenny McCarthy. Me. Jenny McCarthy is here. She has a new book out, and we are fans of this woman. She is a...
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, hello.
Good morning. How are you? Okay, she can't hear us.
Jenny, you there? Maybe
Hi.
we're listening to her talk to somebody else.
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Okay, good.
Sorry for the awkwardness. Jenny has a new book out called Love, Lust, and Faking It, The Naked Truth About Sex, Lies, and True Romance. I love what Chelsea Handler said in the back of the book. We'll just start with this. Even though this book is not as funny as mine, you should still buy it.
I wrote that for her.
Did you? That's even better. You just kind of cover everything here. No holds barred about sex, about boob jobs, dating, oral sex, threesomes. What was the why the book?
You know, the title came about by me first thinking about the cover. I woke up going, I want to do a knockoff of a Harlequin novel.
Funny.
And I have so many disaster sex stories and obvious failed relationships that I thought it would be a good, perfect time in my life to kind of put it all together. And, you know, I also have some really inspirational stuff where I interview neuroscience people on why we love who we love. Mm-hmm. Byron Katie, a spiritual teacher, and I even go all the way to Vegas to interview hookers at the Chicken Ranch.
Wow.
Oh, that was fun, I bet.
You know what? I had a good time. I thought going there, it was going to be disgusting, like you
cheesy.
Maybe see in movie. Yeah,
right.
Like really gross women hanging over the balcony, like, you know. Right. But it was really classy. The women were very clean, if you will.
Sure.
And what they had to say was pretty amazing. I mean, if I was a guy and you want to get it on, I'd go there versus, you know, calling 1-800-900 in the hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
But I like the philosophy. I like what people figuring out why people do what they do, and their responses were pretty interesting to me.
Did you learn anything on why about the decisions that you've made so far in your life?
Yes. Yeah, you know, I think one of the things that I talk about in the book, with the last part, faking it, people think I'm talking about orgasms, but I'm not, because we already know how to do that. I'm talking about, like, how to become your authentic self in the beginning of the relationship. I think too many times women, men, but mostly I think more women, we try to act a certain way, giggle at the jokes, say how much we love football, and be this, like, perfect girl, and then cut 2 years later, and the guy's like, who are you? Because the girl's like, I want to watch Dancing with the Stars, I hate football. So, you know, I'm just trying to, because I taught myself through these relationships, that to start off really as yourself, and I think that longevity will win over anything else.
Well, you know what? For me, it's so apparent and so transparent when a girl is giggling at everything I say, and she loves football, and she's really interested, and you can kind of sense if you have any self awareness that she is faking this, and it's flattering many times, because she obviously wants to be with you because she's doing this, she's making an effort, but just how long will that effort last?
Exactly. And you don't want to wait 2 years and that's what it usually takes sometimes, about 2 years to actually see who the person really is. Mm-hmm. And I notice sometimes, like, if the guy winds up saying, oh my God, I love you, in that first year of the girl faking it, she returns resentful because she's like, you don't even know who I am and you're telling me you love me, you know, subconsciously, because she hasn't been herself.
Right.
You know, to go to your relationship with Jim Carrey, I was one of those people that thought, oh, wow, that works. Look at that. They've really found a thing. Was there part of what you're currently talking about that entered into that relationship for you?
I would say part of what I'm talking about happened with every relationship I've been in up until right now.
Oh, wow.
I think, you know, trying to be sweet and trying to be really pretty all the time, and trying to, you know, bend over backwards to please, rather than be my authentic self, who's actually a pretty awesome person. I just needed to trust that. And so, you know, as time went on, we both got to know each other more, and lessons were learned, and it was time to bow out gracefully.
You know, there's something that I want to bring up, and I see very little about it here, but you did something I felt that was huge. You have an autistic child, and you, the way I have it, refused to go into, well, he's just autistic. You launched into a personal study into foods and the different things that can be done to help this autistic child. And you really made some amazing discoveries, did you not?
Yes. Back when Evan was diagnosed with autism, no one had any hope for these kids getting better. And so I decided to kind of take the mission onto myself and not listen to, what science always says to be true. I think there's some things called miracles and hope. And I went and found organizations of parents who were healing their kids, and I decided to change his diet, put him on some vitamins, detox him, and my son got remarkably better from it. And I'm happy to say he's a healthy, typical 8-year-old right now.
Well, that's great.
Now, so to be clear, you're saying that your child was on these medications given to you by doctors, and that wasn't working, and so you changed diet and went vitamin and took him off the medication?
Yes, he was on different forms of medication, and I took him off and just went natural in terms of taking him off wheat, taking him off dairy, giving him vitamins, detoxing candida yeast to get really specific. And by doing so, in like 1 year, he regained a full speech back and then lost almost all of the characteristics for autism.
We're speaking
That's huge.
That is huge,
yes.
And it's great. And the dedication it must be a great feeling every day to look at that kid and see how happy he is.
It really is.
All right, we're speaking with Jenny McCarthy, Love, Lust, and Faking It, a new book, The Naked Truth About Sex, Lies, and the True Romance. Jenny, can you kind of go through the decision-making process? Every girl, who does pose in Playboy, it's different. Maybe the decision-making process is different. But what brought you to them? Did they come to you? And how long did it take you to decide, yep, I'm going to do this?
Well, I was working at a Polish grocery store on the south side of Chicago.
Oh, who wasn't?
We sold Polish sausage and porn.
Wow.
And,
wow.
I saw the Playboy magazine and thought, well, I can do that.
Uh-huh.
But instead, I sent my picture out to some modeling agencies who all rejected me downtown Chicago. But what else was down there was the headquarters for Playboy. So I walked in, asked how to do it, and they said, there's a shoot going on. Why don't you take a picture in a bikini? And I did. And by the time I got home, they said I was Miss October.
Wow.
And I got lucky, so to speak, in that realm, because most people just mail in their photo. But when I did my photo shoot, I have this chapter in my book that turns out to be hilarious. That it was a true disaster, because I had no idea about something called grooming or shaving or waxing, and I horrified most of the photographers.
Really?
Yeah, it was the most humiliating, I think, moment in my life. All in the book for everyone's enjoyment.
Also, you speak of a cut rate breast augmentation that happened.
Yeah, I talk in the book about how, my first boob job, I have 12 of them. My first boob job I did when I was 19, because all my girlfriends found a guy in Arizona that was like doing them for $1,500 on a payment plan. So I thought, well, why not? Yeah. So I went, and I figured out why it was only $1,500, because I woke up halfway through. There was no anesthesia.
Oh.
They just gave like Valium, and so I was awake during half of my boob job. And,
God!
And it was horrific. And then I had to fly Southwest home, Southwest Airlines home the next day.
That's
and I
double
was
horrific.
And there was turbulence, and I was just dying.
Oh.
So now I say to women, just wait a few years.
You can afford a real one. Well, there it is. The book is Love, Lust, and Faking It, The Naked Truth About Sex, Lies, and True Romance. Jenny, thoroughly enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you. And can I plug my appearance on Monday in L.A., ladies and gentlemen, 7:30 p.m., October 4th at the Grove.
Very cool. And Jenny, listen, I've never thanked you properly for inviting me into the studio, the photo studio, and posing with you on the cover. That was really nice of you to ask. I mean, that was a fun day for me. So, and I'm there with you on the cover.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you said yes.
Oh, thank you. That was sweet. Such a sweet lady.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thanks, you guys.
All right.